what's up you guys? Welcome to the Stuck Between series. My name is Hillary Pradia Watkins and I am the founder of the Stuck Between series. The Stuck Between series is a creative content platform that helps millennials get through the phases of life that make us feel stuck. So today we're going to continue talking about my study abroad experience because you guys know I went to Spain in the summer. You guys know I had an awesome time, but I told you guys in my study abroad recap video, especially the part 2, that I didn't have the best time with my host family. So I want to talk to you guys about the truth about living with a host family and how you can maximize your experience. So this video is called What You Should Know About Living with a Host Family. Stay tuned. So you're thinking about going to Spain or you're considering the opportunity of learning in a new country. Well, I got a lot of experience to share and a few tips and tricks to help you decide if studying abroad and living with a host family is for you. So the first thing that I would recommend is make sure you let your program coordinator know that you're interested in being a part of the family. This is where I believe I went wrong in my personal experience. My host mom didn't really invite me into their family much. I wasn't invited to watch TV with them. My host mom, she cooked my meals separately, so I really didn't feel like I was a part of the family. And it's actually one of the things that she complained about me, that I pretty much stayed in my room the whole time and I was exploring the city a lot. So I would just say, if there can be a bridge builder between your program coordinator and your host family, let your program coordinator know that you do want to be a part of the family. I told my coordinator that I wanted to be a part of the family, but it was much later. My assumption was when I came into the study abroad program to live with a host family, I thought that they would automatically invite me in their family, but it wasn't the case. So maybe if I would have communicated more that I do want to be a part, I'm okay with going out in a town with you all. I'm okay with going on maybe a family weekend trip. I want to be a part of your family. So maybe if I would have communicated that a lot more, instead of automatically assuming the family would invite me in, maybe that would have added to the success of me being integrated with my host family. So I would highly recommend you communicating that to your study abroad program coordinator, and that way you all can be on the same page about your expectations moving forward as you are part of the family. So another thing about living with a host family is that they probably speak the language of the country. In my case, I told you guys I was in Spain, so everybody speaks Spanish. Hablamos español, solamente español. Un poquito inglés, pero es mucho español. Cada persona hablar en español. Each person speaks Spanish, and my host parents, they did not speak English at all. So this was very important because it seems like before you come in, it's like, yeah, I'll get to learn the language and I'll be able to speak the language effectively. But honey, language can be exhausting when you first come into it. When you get off the plane from your country, you're gonna hear many different languages. So just be mentally and emotionally prepared when you live with your host family to hear language all day long. I think for me, I was prepared to hear the language, but I don't think I was ready to communicate the language on their time schedule. For example, breakfast was at 8 a.m. every single morning. And so to have to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and speak Spanish, and then go to class for 4 hours and speak Spanish, and then come home for lunch and speak Spanish, and then go out on the town and speak Spanish, it was a lot. Child, it was a lot. So just be mentally and emotionally prepared to speak the language all day long. And of course, when you leave, you'll be so happy that you did it, but make sure you're emotionally and mentally ready to speak and hear the language, and in my case, it's Spanish. So when you're living with a host family, you have to make sure that you have an open mind. And this is about everything, but specifically, you have to have an open mind when it comes to food. Honey, they don't eat like you eat back in your country. So, for example, we're talking about breakfast, right? So for breakfast, I have a standard American diet. Well, before I came, now I'm vegan. Child, that's a side conversation. But before I went, I had a standard American diet. So for breakfast, I want eggs, I want bacon, I want sausage, I want biscuits, okay? I want orange juice, and I want a side of coffee. You know, I like options. I may not eat it all, but I like options. When I'm feeling fancy, I want some egg whites, I want some spinach, I want some breakfast potatoes, and I want some ketchup. They don't eat like that in Spain. So I had to keep an open mind. My host family, my host mama said, what you want to eat for breakfast? ¿Qué quieres comer para desayuno? I said huevos, which is eggs. And she was like, we don't eat eggs for breakfast. And I was like, this is depressing. So, you know, you just have to keep an open mind when you're trying to integrate yourself in someone else's culture and a part of their family. So it can be very uncomfortable for you. And my recommendation would be, yes, keep an open mind, especially when it comes to food. But also, if there's just certain snacks that you want to eat, go to the local grocery store. I remember calling my girlfriends and saying, I miss spicy food. I'm a Southern girl, you know, I miss my hot sauce. I miss my seasoning. And my friend was like, child, go to the store and get you some Tabasco and put it on your stuff. And I was like, girl, you know what? You are so right. Let me get some hot sauce. So, I have a praise report, okay? And don't you laugh, because I need you to take this seriously. Last week, I told y'all I was struggling because my host mama was cooking fried stuff. She don't cook fried stuff no more, but she did cook 2 meals where I wanted some hot sauce. And so me trying to explain hot sauce to my host mom was just like hilarious. I was like, salsa caliente? She was like, ketchup? And I said, no. Salsa caliente. She was like, ¿quieres salsa? I was just like, nah, fam. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about hot sauce. So guess what? Got me some Tabasco. So I ended up putting hot sauce on my food because that just helped to get me inside of the culture. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say, keep an open mind. Remember that you're here to get all of what that country has to offer. And a part of travel and a part of learning culture is being accepting of the food. So again, keep an open mind when it comes to food. And my last tip for anybody thinking about living with a host family is to let them know that you're not gonna have a fluid schedule. I think for me, when I was on my trip, the schedule and the expectation of what our schedule would be wasn't really communicated prior to us going. So my host family thought that I would be on a certain schedule, and I wasn't aware of what the host family was told. So it created a lot of problems about the schedule. We were given our schedule on our first day of classes, but then my professor said, hey, I have to change up some stuff. We're gonna meet daily to kind of talk about what we're gonna do. And for my host mom, it was very frustrating because she was told when we would eat. So she was told that we would eat breakfast from 8 to 10, maybe from 2 to 4 we would have lunch, and we'll have dinner from 8 to 10 p.m. That wasn't told to me. And Spain is very different from America. We don't start dinner at 8 to 10. We eat around 5 or 6, 7 at the latest. So it was a lot of differences, and she actually told me, you're very disorganized. You should be more like your Korean host sister. I was like, oh, all right. It was a huge conflict, if I'm being very honest. It was a big conflict because what I thought we were doing in my mind wasn't what she was told. So make sure that you guys are on the same page about your schedule and have a strong method of communication with your host mom or with your host dad when things change. One of the issues that she also had with me when the schedule changed, that I wouldn't be as communicative, but in the beginning I didn't really think I had to because I didn't know that there was a schedule that she was giving that I was supposed to be doing things. But let your host family know what your schedule is kind of going to be like, and ask them to be flexible with you, that your schedule may be similar but it may not be the same. At the moment you find out that it's not the same, make sure you call your host mom, text, or just be very communicative. Over communicate. Even though it seems like you're doing the most, child, I feel like I was doing the most too, but just having those lines of communication eases the immersion that's happening between you and them, and also it just helps your host family to trust you that you're okay and that you're safe, because ultimately they take responsibility for you. So that brings me to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you scroll through the Stuck Between Channel's YouTube page. Subscribe, honey, subscribe. Leave me a comment below if there's something particular that you want me to talk about from my host family experience. You guys can ask me anything, and I would love to answer your questions and also know more about what you want to know about Spain. So until the next Stuck Between video, thank you so much for watching. I'm out.